Thursday, August 20th, and you're watching The Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host, DJ Scooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Jaleel Shakir, working his way behind the boards. And we got a great show for you today. Cannot wait to break it all down here live. We got some Premier League action starting tomorrow, and I cannot wait to dive into all that with our good friend, Anthony Dabbundo. I really hope he had like a great, relaxing last month and month and a week, last 5 weeks, because he was full go for the World Cup. Gets like a little month break, and then you blink, you miss it, and now we're back talking some Premier League action. He's going to break down the entire league for us here. He also has an article coming out tomorrow morning, so make sure you go check him out on Twitter. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter and check out his work over at the Action Network as well. After that, we got SoMoney coming on, a.k.a. the CFL Oracle. We're going to be talking about some CFL best bets for today. Plus, I don't know if he's going to be ready for it, but I said, can we talk hockey already? Like, we're like 40 days away from the start of the NHL season. Last time he was on last week, he said he hasn't really done his hockey homework just yet. He still needs to get back into the swing of things, but why not just start now? Does he really need to do all the quant stuff before we just have like a loose conversation? The only thing we talked about this entire offseason was, what was it? Bobrovsky, Vesna, and he made fun of me for that. But like at 80-1 or 50-1, I still think that's a good price. And I have that on my sheet, on my card. And we're like, I'm still clicking that. I don't think that's that crazy of a price to click. Anyways, Anthony Dabbundo talking some EPL. And then we got some SoMoney talking some CFL. Usually on Thursday, we have Kirk Evans come on to talk WNBA. He's the resident WNBA expert here. Amber is also the WNBA expert in the chat. But I'm going to talk some WNBA today. And I feel like I don't want to be out of line when I say this, but I feel like there's a story, and maybe the uproar around the WNBA draft happened and I missed it. But it still shocks me that Olivia Miles went second overall in this year's draft. Azzi Fudd officially was injured on August 1st, now officially out for the entire year. Not a lot of games left in the WNBA season, but still. Leg injury, out for the year. Not going to hold that against her, but she hasn't been having the greatest rookie season. And then you'll go look at Olivia Miles. She is like second in MVP odds right now behind second MVP odds behind Aja Wilson. She is like incredible. She's going to be the future face of the league. Might be the best player in the league in the next 2 or 3 years. And she went second overall. This is like up there with Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. This is up there with Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. This might be a absolutely massive mistake. And we're going to look back and say, how the hell did this happen? All because, now I don't know if this is true, but all because Paige Beckers and Azzi Fudd are dating. You missed out on potentially the future face of the league because a player on your team is dating the player you want to draft. That is insane to me. It's the year 2026. Greg Oden over Kevin Durant happened in 2007. 84, Sam Bowie over Mike Jordan. With how much numbers and stats and how many things we have access to, how much more information is out there, stuff like this should not be happening. Stuff like this should not be happening. Now, the Minnesota Lynx are like the best team. Chat saying best team in WNBA history. And Olivia Miles is going to be the face of this league. Sucks if you're you're happy if you're a Lynx fan. You're happy about that. But sucks if you're a fan of the rest of the WNBA. Oh man. John Smith in the Ecolt. Was it Ecolt in the chat? No, who is it? Someone saying parlaying Minnesota Lynx, and there we go. John Smith saying Lynx parlay with Jags AFC Championship. That's hilarious. This is the running joke on the show. All right. We're going to get Anthony Dabbundo on here in a couple minutes. But before we do that, just want to give a quick shout out to our good friends over at FanDuel. Looking to get more out of today's MLB action? FanDuel has you covered. Right now, you can head over to the FanDuel app and claim a profit boost to use on any bet type for today's game. That's any bet type. Money lines, totals, home runs, player props. However you like to play, it's simple. Just tap claim now, grab your token, and apply it to your bet before you place it. Maybe you're backing your team to win. Maybe you like the over. Or maybe you're calling your shot and picking someone to go yard. Whatever you're feeling, use your boost to get more out of your bet. Head over to FanDuel.com/forward-progress to get started. FanDuel, your home for home runs. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as knowledge of profit boost token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/Chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelpline.org or call 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right, the chat is going crazy today. Connor with an absolute banger. Azzy Fudd, Elmer's granddaughter. Crazy stuff there. Keep those chat messages rolling in. We see every one of those messages, and we appreciate you guys. We'll try and get around to all of them. Also, of course, love the questions coming in. If you have any Premier League questions, have any CFL questions, heck, we're even going to push SoMoney on some preseason NFL action as well. Any questions of that sort, feel free to drop them in the chat. And while you're dropping us those questions in the chat, do us a favor. Smash the like button. Goes a long way here on the channel if you're new to the channel as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right. Got to quickly remind you guys about Forward Progress because I don't know if you've heard, but the Hammer Draft Series is back, and maybe G-Stack George is in the chat. Today, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, they're releasing their next video. Rob, G-Stack, Austin, talking through their division winners draft. That's today, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Forward Progress YouTube channel. I did some homework for today, guys. I don't know much about the Premier League. I'm going to be honest. I don't know much. There's not a lot I know. But I did my best to prepare. I have some friends who are United fans. And so I was just, preparing for Anthony yesterday, just looking around, clicking through FanDuel like I normally do. And look at this. Hull versus Man United. One thing I know about Hull is they are like the worst team in the Premier League this year. They are awful. They are like minus 400, I think it is, to get relegated. They suck. Well, they're playing our good friends, Manchester United. And so I said, let me use my resources here. Let me message my Manchester United fan. Now, mind you, he's not sharp. He's not a bettor. He just loves watching Manchester United. I said, hey, does Manchester United ever do 1-for-1 subs late in games? Could there potentially be a 1-for-1 sub like we saw with France, with Barcolo and Doué? He said, yes. Ahmad and Cunha. I said, okay. Let me mosey on over to Hull, Manchester United. And look at that. Look who's posted. Plus 160 to score a goal. Matías Cunha. And just right below him. Look who's posted at plus 240 to score a goal. Amad Diallo. And then look at that in the corner. Super sub. Boop, 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 boop. We got the super sub coming in. So Cunha for Diallo. All that we need is one of these guys to start. Come on for the other. Thread the needle. Score a goal. You can combine them together. Get them plus 740 over on FanDuel. Now, I will say, bet responsibly. No. Bet responsibly on this because this is just pure speculation on my part. I don't know if this is a good price. I don't know if either of these guys are going to both these players might start. I don't know if they're going to get subbed 1-for-1. Hull is a bad team. So that's what we have going for us here. Bad team versus good team. Guys could potentially sub in for each other. And Alex in the chat right now is a Manchester United fan, so maybe you can give us a little bit more clarity on this. But you can get them combined plus 740 on FanDuel. There's a chance both of them score. But if one subs in for the other, we only need one of them to score if they sub in. Alex in the chat saying, a not too sharp Man United friend. You mean Jacob? No, it was not Jacob. It was just a friend. Alex, you need to let us know. Is this like the right angle to take for Manchester United? The other players that he mentioned were Xerxes for Sesko, but I don't think Xerxes is listed. I couldn't find him listed right now. So our only option is Cunha for Diallo and Cunha and Diallo. So I hope that's the right angle. I hope I'm walking the right line here. Hopefully this is a good look. We got Anthony coming on in a couple minutes here, just running a little bit late. So what should we do for today? Do we want to spin the wheel again? We were going to save it for the end of the show, but maybe we spin the wheel and start naming some names. John Smith in the chat saying, Moretto, I miss NHL banter. John Smith, so do I. Maybe we can talk a little bit about some awards markets. Again, free square, Gavin McKenna, plus 280 available on FanDuel. I'm still shocked that number is still there. I don't care how good you think Porter Martone is. Gavin McKenna is going to win. Like, Gavin McKenna is going to be playing with Austin Matthews at plus 280. Anyways. Ecolt. Oh, Ecolt. G-Stack hasn't dropped a winner since 2023. Okay, wait, hold on. Ecolt, quickly. The people are asking, when I'm away, do you want to host the Hammer Daily? You're more than welcome to. The people want it. The chat really want you to host. So maybe we can get something to work in the background here. You let me know, Ecolt. You let me know. All right. Let's get into today's show. Let's bring on our first guest here. He's a writer over at The Ringer. He also is a part of a podcast called The Wise Guys Ringers. Did a great Premier League preview. Go check it out over on The Wise Guys Ringers YouTube channel. Also has got an article dropping tomorrow talking everything Premier League. I was about to say World Cup. World Cup is gone. World Cup is gone. I'm just used to mentioning the World Cup with him. Local Philly fan, Anthony Dabbundo. Welcome to the show. How's it going? Tottenham, there we go.
It's good to be back.
How's it going? Yeah.
Honestly, I'm excited. Prem's back. It's always exciting. I'm hoping the league is better this year than it was last year from a pure entertainment perspective. Mm-hmm. Last year, 27% of the goals were set pieces. Open play XG was through the floor. Arsenal, shout out to them. They grinded their way to a title, but it was not the most exciting experience in the world. And now we get to watch a new season is abound, and we have so many new managers that it's a really, really interesting handicap.
Yeah, we're going to break that all down here. But I quickly, little off topic. You are from Philly. You're a Phillies fan. Makes sense. Yep. You're a Colts fan. Need to piece that together.
And then you're a
Tottenham fan. Where? How did these allegiances come about?
Yeah, I'm a Philly sports fan. I root for the Sixers. I sort of root for the Flyers. I did not appreciate the Porter Martone slander.
Not slander. He
is him. No, I'm kidding. I'm not really that into hockey. I grew up rooting for the Phillies first. I got into the Colts because of my family member who lived near me, and we used to watch games growing up. And he's still a Colts fan, and we watch games together often nowadays. So he was kind of like my first influence. And then Tottenham. How does anybody pick an EPL team? For me, I liked playing FIFA with Gareth Bale when I was about 12 years old, and watched the World Cup. And I was like, "Oh, soccer's fun. Let me get into this." And then became a Spurs fan. Wanted to pick a team in London. I've been to a bunch of games now. Every time I go over there, I try to catch a game. So it's awesome, and I love it. And it is random, of course, but so is most people's EPL's fandom. I'm not English in any way. I'm obviously Italian, so it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say maybe if you waited a couple of years to fall in love and play FIFA, you could have been a Real Madrid fan. But no, it ended up being Tottenham with Gareth Bale there. Yeah, all right, let's dive into today's show. You mentioned I want to talk about the potential and increase in open play. You mentioned last year a lot of dead ball goals, a lot of goals off set pieces. This year it seems like the officiating is going to be a little bit tighter. We're going to see less of these set piece goals, less allowing of grappling and pulling shirts in the box. Arsenal right now plus 105 to win the Premier League, which we'll get to in a couple minutes here, but was the best team to score off of set pieces last year. Is the rule change going to be a problem for them, or is this just sort of like a talking point for pundits and it's not really going to change that much?
Yeah, it's a good question. We often see this with the points of emphasis, I think, where you come into a season and your NFL refs are like, we're going to really call holding this year, guys. And then by week 8, it's like they don't call holding anymore. I think there is a risk of that, but all you need to do is really establish a precedent. Because if you just nullify attacking set pieces because teams keep fouling goalkeepers and boxing out, it will not take long for those teams to adjust and then stop doing the illegal set pieces stuff. Now, with that being said, Arsenal is not just good at set pieces because they're good at boxing and crowding out the goalkeeper. They're a tall team. They have excellent set piece deliverers with Rice and Saka, and now Zolas coming in from Club Brugge. So there's a lot of institutional know-how. They were one of the first big teams to really become a dominant set piece team like this. But I think the bigger question is how sustainable is anybody at being this good at set pieces is a real question that I have going into the new season.
All right, just to follow up here, mentioned Arsenal as a team that might get a little bit I don't want to say punished by it, but like you said, it doesn't seem like they're going to get punished by this. Is there a team that will benefit from having open play? A team that struggled with set pieces last year, a team that wants to play in open play, wants to play more attacking style. Is there a team that you can think off the top of your head that will benefit from this?
Liverpool were not a great set piece team last year. I kind of think like United, Chelsea, and Arsenal were all great set piece teams. So I don't want to give this illusion that they were the only team that benefited from this. Because United, like Bruno Fernandes set the set piece or set the assist record. A lot of them were set pieces, right? So I'm not sure there's one team that's like, oh, thank God we don't have to worry about set pieces anymore, to be honest, because those teams were already at such a disadvantage that they had to at least get competent at it going forward because you were just losing out on so much. So yeah, I would probably say we have a lot of new managers, and Bournemouth were never really a team that was in like at the top of the set piece leaderboards. So maybe it's like Liverpool's new manager, Iraola, comes over from there. Maybe he's not quite as in tune with the advances there, but for the most part, I wouldn't say there's one team that gets hurt the most by it.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on and talk about Arsenal, who you mentioned off the top here. Right now, plus 105 to win the league. It feels like, listen, with how long the season is, like with how open the Premier League is plus 105 like too short? Is that a bet for you right now? Like, is there like what number would you need to take on Arsenal? Would you take the 105, or is this just like the books sort of protecting themselves from like we'll call it the safest team in England?
Yeah, and the books have moved a lot in the last week. I mean, we did this show last Thursday. Arsenal was like plus 135, and that would have been a price that I probably would have taken a little nibble on. But now at this price, on one hand, it is hard for me to see anybody else winning it, and I'm supposed to bet this. Like I'm over 50% of the time Arsenal wins the league. But the error bars on the chasing pack are so wide because of all the managerial changes, especially the two teams that I think are probably closest in ceiling. And, it's like Man City is replacing Pep Guardiola, right? Chelsea have a new manager. I like Xabi Alonso more than I do Enzo Maresca or Rossignol or all the other, clown shows they've had run that team for the last few years. But Chelsea's price isn't good. And there's a lot of uncertainty with what their squad looks like because Cole Palmer wasn't good last year coming off an injury. Estevao is going to miss time to start the season. None of their striker options to me are like this guy could lead a line on a champion team. So it makes it very hard to make a case for anybody else from a pure just looking through these rosters, except for City. And it becomes a question of like, what do you think of Enzo Maresca and how he's going to adapt on Guardiola and try to build on Guardiola? I'm confident he can copy most of what Guardiola did. I'm less confident of what like the next iteration and innovation is because he's never shown it to me. So that's where I think City has their own questions. So I think Arsenal will win the league. I think they are the pick to win the league. Am I tying up my money for 9 months on plus 105 when the market's mostly moving off of a Community Shield win that doesn't mean shit? No, I'm not really looking to do that.
All right, just quickly as a follow-up here, what is the failure for Arsenal? How, like, if we are sitting here at the end of the Premier League season and Arsenal isn't the winners, what happens? Is it more so just Man City hits their ceiling, or another team in this expected to be in this top four hits their ceiling? Is there something that internally that can happen? Is it just as simple as just injuries to Arsenal's players? Like what is the bear scenario here for Arsenal?
It's a pretty clear one, I think. We're already seeing parts of it. Declan Rice was shattered, just dead on his feet at the end of the World Cup. He played over 60 soccer matches last year between club and country, and the World Cup was physically demanding, and he looked spent. Bukayo Saka was never really healthy at the World Cup. Like he was in and out with injury, playing, not playing, running at like 80%, never looked fully fit to me. He's, their most important attacking player. And then you look at the defense. William Saliba managed this back issue for all of the spring and into the World Cup, and then eventually got so much pain that he couldn't play anymore and exited the semifinal 20 minutes in and is not going to start the season. So you're looking at three of Arsenal's four most important players come into the season either already or on the verge of injury. So that is a concern. And we saw PSG last year, right? They won the Champions League. They won Ligue 1. Then they went to the final of the Club World Cup, lost to Chelsea. They had no offseason, and they had basically to load manage the first half of the year in Ligue 1. They have that luxury because in Ligue 1, it's like a fake league. They're going to win no matter what. Arsenal doesn't get that luxury, especially because Arsenal's style is so physical. They are a physically imposing soccer team that grinds you down, that defends hard. They do the running. They press. They're a physical out of possession team. They are not the kind of team that can just roll up and put 3 on anybody. That's not their style. So
Hmm.
I think that's the obvious bear case, but I do think they've done a pretty good job of trying to cover for this,
Hmm.
right? They bring in Solis, they bring in Bruno Guimaraes, who for my money is a top 5 midfielder. He's a win now player. He's already 28. They bring in Ezri Konsa from Villa, who's going to add depth and play important minutes for them until Saliba's back. So I think they've done a good job of building a robust squad to hold them off,
Hmm.
but they're all those players are a little bit worse than the players they'd be replacing.
All right, fair enough here. Do you think they'll have do you think that more emphasis will be placed on winning the Premier League with like how it seems like they're going to be like load managing? I don't want to use that word, but it seems like they're going to be load. Is their emphasis going to be to win the Premier League or to win the Champions League, or are they going to try and do both? Is it maybe too much for them to do both with how many games their star players have already played this past calendar year?
Good question. I think we're a little far from that question. I
Mhm.
think you'd have to reassess in like February because
Okay.
with the league phase now, like Arsenal's
Yeah.
never going to be in doubt. Honestly, like even until like the quarterfinals of the Champions League, I doubt
Mhm.
Arsenal's going to really be that much challenged, but just because their defensive floor is so high. And then there is the question of like, I mean, the 3-year, 4-year defensive run that Arsenal's been on is pretty rare, pretty unprecedented. So what happens if that does start to show some cracks this year? Again, Rice goes out, Guimaraes comes in. They're a little bit different players. Um, Saliba goes out, arguably the best center back in the world. Konsa's fine, but he's not Saliba. So there are worlds where this is a little bit worse defensively. And then how does that affect, Arsenal's ability to turn the dial toward attack when they start conceding more goals?
All right, let's talk about Man City, who you mentioned previously here. Maresca, is that his name? Maresca? Am I pronouncing that?
Enzo Maresca.
Enzo
Yes.
Maresca comes in, new manager. Big shoes to fill here. You mentioned the error bar is very wide for this team. 290 to win, minus 135 to place in the top 2, minus 600 to place in the top 4. Any of those? Do you have any appetite to click either of those? I know the minus 600 is so gross to like click, but like, would that be a click according to your model? And like, with what Maresca has inherited, is there like sort of a floor for Man City?
Yeah. I'd have to look at my numbers. I think there's no way in hell I would lay minus 600 with Enzo Maresca, to be honest. I am probably low on him relative to the market. But it's tricky because when he comes into a system that he's very intimately familiar with on a team he used to be the assistant coach of, it's a little bit different than when he goes somewhere else and tries to make his own thing happen.
Mhm.
Right. And even if Maresca wasn't there last year, he was there just a few years ago under the tutelage of Guardiola. But the meta's also changed. Like the league has changed in what is good and what is expected of the top teams because defensive possession became king in the Premier League a few years ago, but it really isn't anymore because teams have figured out how to crack that and really kill them in transition. And it's a large part of why City had some struggles the last couple of years. But I'd probably settle on the idea that there's enough upside in this team that if you made me place one bet on City, it'd probably still be the bull case of like 3-1. Arsenal runs into the ground and City's the last team standing, and they're still really, really, really talented. Second half of last season, right? So from January on, after they brought in Semenyo, they had the same number of expected points as Arsenal. At one point, it's easy to forget now, but at one point, City were the title favorites. They beat Arsenal. I disagreed with that obviously back in the day, but the City became title favorites when they beat Arsenal in the spring, and there was 7 matches left in the season at the time. So they were right there. The gap was not very big. Now, if you think, and this is my other hot take, people will see Rodri to Elliot Anderson as a downgrade. They're replacing Rodri. How could you replace Rodri? Because they watched the World Cup where Rodri was amazing at a slower paced game. And while I think that's great for Rodri and good for him, he wins Golden Ball. Now he goes to Barca, slower paced league. He's going to be great there. Elliot Anderson was a better Premier League midfielder last year than Rodri. Rodri was leggy. He was not the same, dominant Rodri we're used to seeing. Elliot Anderson is, it's like the ships passing in the night thing where Rodri's, past 30, past peak, and Anderson is rising into this peak. Now, what do his legs look like? That's a real question. And he's not a 6. He's more of an 8 in the midfield. So it's a different kind of midfielder. But I think that's a kind of like for like. They can make that work. Now, Doku gets hurt. There are depth questions. They might be selling a couple of guys, Savinho and Marmoush, to Tottenham. So there's still a lot to be sorted out with this team. I still have my defensive questions, but I don't even think it's close. They are by far the best attacking team in this league. And just off of that, like 3-1 is kind of tempting.
All right, 3-1, a little bit tempting here. I mentioned off the top, I don't know if you're in the background when you heard this, I have some friends who are United fans, and they were going to kill me if I don't ask you a question specifically about United plus 850 to win the league. Is this the year that they can sort of figure it out? Just talk me through. Carrick is in for his first full season. Is there a reason like to make a bull case behind this United team, or is this just like every other year where, over the past couple of years where it's just high hopes coming into the season and then just sort of fall below expectations?
Yeah, I think the bull case, this is probably the most bullish I've been on United
Okay.
since I've been doing this on podcasts, so like 5 or 6 years.
Mm.
I've often been the bear on United. I've often found them quite overrated. I don't feel them to be overrated right now. I did take their under in our draft, but I haven't bet anything against United. I think with this version of United, what is a good United season is not them taking another step forward. I think it's a good United season if they consolidate what they did last year. Because there is a lot of air in the numbers from last year. Like Casemiro gave them a ton of production kind of out of nowhere, and he's like kind of washed. And now he goes to MLS, right? That should be a signal of like maybe he's not going to.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of production you have to replace.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes breaks the assist record in the Premier League. I love Bruno. I've been high on Bruno. Everybody else has been critical. I love Bruno Fernandes, one of my favorite players to watch in the world. But he's probably not going to break the assist record again, so they're going to lose production there. And you start to look around. What they have done quietly this summer is bring in, a young midfielder in Andre Santos and maybe Baleba. They're starting to bring Mainu along. Like the underpinning of the team is getting stronger. The top line stuff for me, I don't see how it gets better this year. Like I kind of think they have a ceiling that's third or fourth. I'm not sure that there's enough defensive solidity here. So I think United consolidates like a pretty solid year. And they would see that as a success, even if it's like fourth place again. And you're like, well, they were never really in the title race. That's kind of what I think for United this year.
All right. Seems like you're high on them, which is like a little bit good, higher than you've been in previous years, which is really important. So hopefully my friends are a little bit happy about that one. And you mentioned you took their under in the, even though you took the under in their Ringer Wise Guys podcast. You can go check out that podcast over on the Ringers Wise Guy YouTube channel. You and Paul Carr did like a 20 team draft, like just a draft of the Premier League.
Yeah, we draft every team. It's a good way to talk about all the teams. And
exactly. I think you guys did a good job with that. So just if you have time, I would go check that out over there. You're wearing a Spurs jersey. Talk to me about the Spurs, because they are currently priced as the just looking in the top 6 Finnish market, they're minus 120. So they are like holding the door of the top 6 right now. Explain to me how the Spurs don't replicate their season last season this season.
I do not think relegation's on the table, but I would, if you could bet no at even money on the minus on the top 6, I'd bet that too.
Okay.
You're asking a lot of things to go right for Tottenham to be a top 6 team this year, and I put them 7th in my table. I think I'm like relatively, part of it was like I'm not really confident in a lot of the like 8th to the 12th teams this year, but Tottenham fixed their biggest issue, which is that nobody on the team could pass last year. They had no midfielders who were good at passing. They had one good, passing center back, but they bring in Van Hecke from Brighton, who's a great ball progressor. They bring in Tonali, who's a very good do-everything midfielder. They bring in Fernandez, who's kind of their upside play, and he can pass a little bit, go win the ball. They've completely transformed the midfield and the defense in a way that will make them a much higher floor team. And that's what De Zerbi did before the last year final day shenanigans. He came in and said, we can fix the defense with possession structure. And he did it. The second phase of that rebuild is then, okay, the Zerbi ball is keep ball, pass ball, beta press, and then find a transition. They have very limited attacking talent right now. Like, it is not a team that looks to me like anything close to a top 6 contender, with Richarlison and Solanke and a lot of guys coming off injuries. They've been generationally injured for 2 years. Madison, Kulusevski have like barely played soccer. So like, what are they? Kudus is fine. So they need another guy. And there are a lot of rumors they're going to be getting 1 or 2 more guys between now and August 31st. This is the weird part of doing Premier League previews where the teams are literally still doing essentially free agency. So it is kind of weird. And like, I'm kind of in a wait and see mode on Tottenham. I did bet the under 2.5 plus 130 this weekend against Brentford. But I just don't really think the ceiling is there with the current group of attackers. That could change, But I would love if they could get Savino, maybe Balogun, then we might be talking, but we'll see.
All right, we'll see. Might not land in the top 6, but it's all right. They're not gonna get relegated. I have you for a couple more minutes here, but I have a bunch of questions I want to get to, so I'll kind of let you do like
I'll go shorter. I'll go rapid fire.
All right, yeah. I'll do like sort of pick your poison here. Promoted of the 3 that have been promoted: Hull, Ipswich, Coventry. Number 1, is Hull like one of the worst teams to be promoted to the Premier League in like recent memory?
Not one of. They are the
worst.
The
okay,
worst.
so
I projected him for 14 points, and I thought it was wrong. But it's there's plus money. Like this is one I will tie up my money for the year because I'm going to put a lot on it, and I already have. Plus 110 to be the worst team in the league. Huge gap. Their underlying numbers. They should have been relegated from the championship. They got promoted. It's actually incredible.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so then I guess between Ipswich and Coventry, who do you think finishes of the 3 teams? Well, I guess we'll get rid of Hull, but who do you think between Ipswich and Coventry has a chance to not get relegated, has a chance to sort of shake up the table, maybe finish in the top 16, 15?
Right. Yeah, I'll go Coventry. They're pretty good on set pieces last year, and that could be enough against the other fellow kind of like lower ranked teams to try to snatch some points up. Sunderland was pretty good at it last year. I would say that Sunderland is probably the team most likely not relegated last year to be relegated. Everybody has that same take. I don't see the floor for Fulham like everybody else seems to throw out there. They're getting younger. They might have a step back, but I don't see them getting relegated. Newcastle's been thrown around, but their baseline's too high. So yeah, maybe it's Fulham, but I kind of feel like we lost the 2 teams that were hanging on for dear life last year.
Yeah,
Wolves and West Ham, and now this year might just be all right, down you go. Maybe Sunderland's the exception.
All right, top half finish. There's a bunch. There's a clear hierarchy in the Premier League. Obviously, there's the elites: Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United. You can choose to throw in Tottenham if you'd like, but there's like 5 teams priced at plus 110 to plus 130 to finish in the top half of the league: Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Newcastle, and Bournemouth. And then there's Aston Villa and Brighton, who are Aston Villa minus 280, minus 155 for Brighton. Of Aston Villa and Brighton, who do you think, if you could click the no on this, or to finish in the bottom half, who would you click between the 2? And then between Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Newcastle, Bournemouth, and Leeds plus 140 as well. Pick 2 of those teams that you think can finish in the top half of the league.
I'll say Villa Brighton is tough. I am higher on Brighton generally than Villa. Like they play this weekend, and I have a bet on Brighton. But Brighton is more likely to focus on Europe and not have the depth there, whereas Villa will probably just lose in the Champions League, and then they'll be more focused on the league. That one's a tougher one. I would probably say Villa based on price.
Okay.
Not be top half. And they're older. The other one, I still love Brentford. Every year, I don't know why I do any work. I just come on, be like, yeah, I like Brentford again. 5 years in a row. I don't care who. Like Frank left last year. Everybody was like, they're done. It's over. They lost Wissa. They lost Tony. They lost Mbuemo. They lost Norgard. They're like, oh, the whole team left. They stink. And then they finished top half again. Like they are smarter than everybody else. And it seems to be that the market, they're also smarter than them. So shout out to them. Go Bees. They'll probably buzz again. They're a team on the list of like, if the set pieces start to go south this year and they regulate out of the league, they could be in trouble. But Brentford, and you could put Bournemouth as like the light version of that. Bournemouth this year is a lot of similarities to Brentford last year, where like the manager leaves and a bunch of top talent leaves, and you're like, oh, it's over, and then it ends up not being over. So they're in the mix too. All
right, Brentford, Bournemouth. One person in the chat is asking about Leeds. Any quick thoughts on Leeds?
I like their summer.
Okay.
I think they have consolidated themselves as a reliable lower mid-table team. I just don't know if you can actually rely on Calvert-Lewin again. Like he had the best year of his career, basically. Played more minutes than he ever has in the Prem, more goals per 90 than he ever has in the Prem. But like the whole story of his career is he's always injured. I'm not going to just like completely flip my opinion of him on 1 year. I think they're probably short on goals to like make a push for top half. But second half of the season, they were like 9th, 8th in XG difference. So like it's not out of the question if Calvert-Lewin stays healthy again.
All right, Calvert-Lewin, stay healthy. Maybe they can finish the top half. Before you head out, give me your favorite bet you've placed for the Premier League this upcoming weekend. And then also expectation for the Phillies come October. Expectation for the Colts this year. I need you to lay it on the line for me.
Favorite bet this weekend is under 2.5 Brentford and Spurs
Mhm.
plus 130. And I think that was at FanDuel. I bet that. So it should be still there. Haven't looked. And then Phillies, I'm looking over the shoulder at the Atlanta Braves. They should be watching us. We're coming.
Mhm.
Their rotation stinks. They got a tough stretch coming up here. The Phillies ceiling, I don't know. It's the same as it always is. I mean, it's like the starting pitching's really good. Can the bats hit? Playoff baseball, spin the roulette wheel. Okay, we'll see. And then the Colts, they have had Gardner Minshew, Riley Leonard, Anthony Richardson, Phillip Rivers at quarterback the last 3 years, and they've still had like pretty respectable offenses all of those seasons. And I think people are really dying to push the doomsday button on this team because Daniel Jones is coming off a major injury. I am not willing to do that. I don't think there's a ceiling on this team because they have very few like star players. There's no pass rusher you fear. There's no elite receiver outside of maybe Pierce. Like it's just like kind of like a good system that can win you 8 or 9 games, maybe 10, but I don't see a ceiling. So they're kind of a boring team, honestly, to talk about. Unless Daniel Jones is like really, really cooked and can't move, which doesn't seem to be the case based on training camp. I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games again. So like there's a 7.5 over out there that I'm kind of tempted by.
All right.
But there's definitely better ways to tie up your money than betting on Colts futures this year.
Is this like just, sorry, I know I said I'd see you out here, but is this just not the worst position to be in as a fan? Sorry.
Oh, it is. But the thing is, we've been here for so long.
Fair.
Like, I don't even care. Like, Richardson was kind of fun. People are like, why do you love Richardson so much? I'm like, what else am I supposed to root for?
Yeah.
This is what I want to, we're going to try something. It probably won't work, but what if it does? Right?
Yeah.
Phil Rivers, like obviously the season was already over, so why not bring in the Grams for 3 weeks and like have some fun? I had so much fun watching Phil Rivers play football. So if we're not going to win, we might as well have fun doing it. So we'll see what happens this year.
All right, Anthony, appreciate it.
Colts plus 3.5 week 1 though.
There we go. That's a banger.
Should be 3.
All right, we're taking Colts plus 3.5 week 1 versus the Ravens. Really?
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm at 3, but I don't know.
All right.
My NFL power ratings aren't worth shit. So.
Fair enough. I love the opinions, though. Anthony, appreciate you joining the show. You can follow Anthony on Twitter at Anthony Dabbundo. Quickly, before you head out, your article dropping tomorrow morning. Do you want to give us like a little teaser for it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the one I do every year. I rank the table 1 to 20. I did call the champ the last 2 years.
There we go.
Liverpool and had Arsenal last year, so neither of them were the favorite at the time. But this year, spoiler alert, I am picking Arsenal. So.
All right, let's go 3 for 3.
Less exciting again. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it. Again, follow Anthony on Twitter at Anthony Dabbundo. Anthony, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Thanks, man.
Great stuff there from Anthony. As always, no E-Colt. I'm not going to ask Anthony to put on the helmet and do a batting stance. That's just incredible. Incredibly obtuse of you to ask me to do. Anyways, hopefully you guys got like your Premier League fix. That under Brentford versus Tottenham, under 2.5 goals, plus 124. Available on FanDuel. Go click. All right. We're going to bring on SoMoney here in just a second to talk about some CFL. Hold on, let me just double check something. Red Blacks right now are 13.5 versus the Alouettes. The Red Blacks would not have covered the 7.5 last week, so we did a good job on the Red Blacks ban. We'll talk to SoMoney about the Red Blacks ban if we're going to be lifting it today. But before we do that, quickly remind you guys, I know that you guys love to watch Hammer Daily Live, and I see you guys in the chat every single day. Shout out TQ, Ryan, Ecold, Amber, everyone else in the chat. But sometimes you can't make it, and guess what? That is A-okay. If you're going to be listening to this after the fact and you're not on YouTube, and you're listening to Spotify and Apple Music, make sure you give us a rate and review of 5 stars. It really goes a long way. Plus, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed over on those feeds as well, because it just helps us out. Anytime you press those buttons, it helps us out a lot in the algorithm. So make sure you click all those buttons. Give us 5 stars. It goes a long way for us growing. And we've seen a ton of growth, and we appreciate you guys. So anyways, appreciate you guys. If you're tuning in after the fact, make sure you rate and review 5 stars. And if you're listening after the fact right now, it's like 5 o'clock on the drive home. Wait until you get home. Don't do this while you're driving, please. No accidents here. Drive safe. But when you get home, make sure you rate and review 5 stars. All right. Our final guest of today's show. I don't think, how do I put this? This guy makes my Thursday every time he comes on. He's just in the background smiling. Hair looks great. And I just love talking CFL with him. Love talking ball with him. Cannot wait to break down everything here today. He's a better Tortured Canucks fan Vancouver native. Maybe he'll come to Toronto soon and we can hang out, grab a beer. Been trying to do that for 2 years, but he's been ducking me. I don't know what it is. Anyways, let's bring him on up. SoMoney Sports. SoMoney, how's it going?
I'm good, Jason. How you doing, man?
Good. Before we get into the CFL stuff, Red Black Span is continuing. Are you ready to talk hockey yet? Because John Smith in the chat is like, when the hell are we going to be yapping about hockey? I miss it.
Yeah, we can start talking hockey a little bit. Not fully yet.
Okay.
But
okay.
We're getting there.
Okay. All right. That's all good. We'll restart it we'll talk about it in a week or two, maybe week or two.
Yeah.
Next week.
Sure.
Are you still sure? I'll give you one opportunity to walk this back. You still sure you're out on Vezina winner, future Vezina winner? Where is he right now? Bob at 55-1.
Yes, I am sure that I'm still out on that.
All right, that's unfortunate. Anyways, let's get into the CFL slate for today. Red Blacks ban, thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we doing this? Are we continuing the ban or no?
Oh, they're banned.
Okay.
I think they're. I mean, they're not only do they suck, they're not healthy now either. Their injury report is insane. They're running into a Montreal team that, it's 13 and a half, and like Ottawa may cover, but if Ottawa covers, it's because Montreal did stupid shit, and like that's not something that I want to bet on.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Just reading right now, Montreal coming off the bye, 4 defensive starters coming back for them as well. Health is helping them out. 13 and a half points. Is there, like, listen, I know there is currently an Ottawa Red Blacks band going on here on the show, but like, what number would you need? Like, this is imaginary. This number is not going to exist. If I say 21 and a half, are you clicking? If I say 23 and a half, are you clicking?
Okay.
24 and a half?
If you give me 21 and a half, I'll do 21 and a half.
At 110?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Or not 110. I guess that would, at 110 would make a lot of sense. Yeah. 21 and a half at 110. And honestly,
sure.
I feel like we're going to look back next week and be like, wow, that's still lost. All right. Anyways, we're going to need to take 14 points off of the spread if we want a chance of surviving here. Break down this game for us, though, quickly. Any interest in anything else on this game? Totals at 61 and a half. You're not taking the Red Blacks at plus 13 and a half. Maybe Montreal to cover at 13 and a half, though.
Yeah, I mean it's a big number for the CFL. I know that Ottawa is not good. They're injured. This, and I kind of like the under as well, but this is one of those games where it's going to come down to whatever Montreal wants to do. If they want to run up the score, they'll run up the score. If they want to just get out of there with the win, that's what they'll do. So there's not much Ottawa can do here for me. And in a game like this where it's just dependent on what one team feels like doing, it's just difficult to bet into that. So I will pass on this game. Slight interest on the under, but it's not something I've got too much of an interest in at this point.
All right, slight interest on the under, but we will pass and move on to the next game. Winnipeg at Edmonton. Edmonton right now minus 5.5. Totals at 59.5. Edmonton just dropped 42 points on Toronto. They're a strong team at home, 4-1 right now at home. The Elks. Anything you like in this one?
I do. I think that we've been high on Edmonton. They've served us well this year, even last week. But by the way, we talked about that we went 5-0 last week.
I did not mention that. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. But there is a reason why there is a reason why we call you the CFL Oracle.
Yeah. No, but I was just gonna say that with the in that game we had Edmonton there, and like it was never really in doubt. I do like what Edmonton's doing. We've been high on them all year. And for Winnipeg, I've said several times, they're not our big brothers, Blue Bombers anymore. There's a lot missing there on that team. But I think that we've gone a step too far here, making Edmonton past the three. In fact, I think that Edmonton should be a 3 here. I do like Winnipeg. Just think that there's some things that Winnipeg can do defensively that are going to trouble Edmonton, and I think that Winnipeg's offense is starting to come around a little bit. They've dealt with some injuries, so you have to take their season-long numbers just you have to take those injuries into account. So I do like Edmonton here. Like them plus 5.5. It's there across the board, and that's the way that we will be going. Edmonton plus 5.5.
Edmonton.
So I'm sorry, Winnipeg plus 5.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like, wait. Winnipeg
Yeah.
plus 5.5 there.
Yeah, Winnipeg plus 5.5.
Are we also taking them to win? Plus 220.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Winnipeg plus 5.5. Small sprinkle on them to win plus 220. No Blue Bombers playing in the NFL, so we can't do what we did last week where we were parlaying the Lions and the Lions. But Bombers plus 220 and plus 5.5 minus 110. Next one we have is Ticats versus the Argos. You've been sort of high on the Argos, but also high on Hamilton, it feels like, for the past couple of weeks. Scott Milanovich, is that their head coach, is away from Hamilton? This is me doing like some research stuff here. Seems like he might be away for this game. Is that going to affect anything? Talk us through what you have for this one. Plus 4.5 right now for the Ticats. Plus 4.5 minus 118 for the Ticats. Total is 60.5.
Yeah, you mentioned I'm high on Toronto. I am high on Hamilton's defense, and I think that their offense is underrated. We saw that last week in our win with against Saskatchewan, and I like Hamilton's defense, but I think that this is one of those games, and we'll see it in the Saskatchewan BC game that we talk about in a bit. There are certain positions you take against the market, and it's not necessarily, no, I shouldn't say against the market. It's more so against market sentiment, right? So Toronto is seen as a team that kind of a mid-range team, weaker defensively and inconsistent offensively. I argue that while that may be true, if you take a look at their snapshot at a certain point in time, you have to take into account, and we've touched on this a lot about their scheduling as well. They went through a gauntlet of a schedule, and it's not, and it's starting to come. And their home games are starting to come. They're starting to play better. Yes, that was a tough situation against Edmonton last week, but one game should not change our perspective of a team. And I do like Toronto quite a bit. Still, I think that FanDuel's at 4.5. So FanDuel's got the sharp number there. But if you could get -4, I would do that. And I do like the under there as well. Just touching on Hamilton's defense, I think that that's carrying their team right now. And also, I think that Toronto's defense, you not throughout last game, but you kind of understand that was a tough situation from Toronto for Toronto last week. And I think that their defense is going to respond as well. So Toronto -4. And I do like the under 61.5 or 61. 61 is fine. And I like that. And I like that under there as well.
Under 61.5, -4 as well. What number would you need on the 4.5 there? Is -104 enough, or is that?
That's fine.
That's fine. All right. 104 is 4.5 is available on FanDuel. If you want the flat 4, it's out there as well. Excuse me. And then the 61.5 towards the under is what we're looking for. Make sure you shop around for that because there's some better prices out there on the under. Last game, our BC Lions take on the Rough Riders. Right now, the BC Lions are favorite at home -126. Totals at 6.5. Best price, 61.5. Excuse me. Did I say 60? 61.5. Best price in market towards the over right now is -112 on FanDuel. Are you interested in that over?
I'm not interested in the over because I do think that this might be a bit of a tight game. And I think that a low 60s total right now, I think, accounts for where these teams are offensively and defensive. Well, where these teams are offensively for sure. I still think the market's a little bit low on BC's defense. I've talked about BC a ton. I think that this team is really coming into form. We saw it against Calgary last week. Yes, Vernon Adams went down, but I thought that there was a lot of bad luck that the Lions had to go through in that game as well, and regardless of that, they were able to get the win. So I like where this BC team is headed quite a bit, and this is one of those games where I talk about this often, that if you are right, you have to bet into these situations, right? So BC at -1.5, -1. There's some -2s out there. At that point right now, if I'm right about BC, they're not going to be here a month from now, and so that's where I need to be betting that. So so BC up to -2, I'm good with. I think that this is a team that's really coming right now. So and again, if I'm right, then I have to bet it. So we're good with BC here.
All right, BC. You can get them on the money line there at -126 at FanDuel, -1.5, -118. Excuse me. The 126 is one of the better prices available in market. If you're in Ontario right now, I'd be hard pressed to find a better number than the -126. Even some sharper books out there that rhyme with Shinnicle have a 130. So the 126 is a pretty good number there. If you
are we doing on the market moving right now? Yeah. Okay.
Market moving on BC. Yes.
Yeah. Winnipeg, BC.
Yep. Winnipeg and BC. But I will say we have to wrap this up quickly because there is a 6.5 out there on Winnipeg and a +240 out there. That is, I can go grab across the street at the convenience store. So I need to sprint out of here when the show is done. That's unfortunately, I think that's only available in Ontario. But anyways, if you do like, if you do like the BC Lions here, make sure you get them at -126 on FanDuel. All right. That's it for the bets for today. BC -126, Toronto -4, under 61.5 in that Toronto game. Winnipeg +5.5, -110, and then slight lean towards the under on the Ottawa and Montreal game, and maybe that -820 is like a free square potentially on the Alouettes.
Sorry, what's the free square?
-820 on the Alouettes, like outright, just to win money line.
Why?
I don't know. Like the Red Blacks suck. They're not like.
I know, but it's -820 and it's been accounted for in the line.
Fair. I know. Just who knows? Feels like a free square. Anyways, SoMoney.
Let's do a couple of tennis.
Oh yes, I forgot tennis was happening. Yes, give it to me. Oh wait, quickly. Any opinion on Sinner playing or not at the U.S. Open?
Any opinion on if he's going to
play? Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
You have no idea?
Yeah.
If you were to take a future right now, would you like look towards fading Sinner in the chance that he doesn't play?
I would bet Alcaraz right now.
+250?
Yeah.
All right, click. All right. We got Cincinnati. Anything you like in Cincinnati?
I do. 2. Jessica Pegula up to -135 is fine. She's moving right now. And Rybakina too, down to plus. Where do I have her? I have her down to +127, 128.
She's +136 right now on FanDuel. Pegula -146. If we're backing Pegula, make sure you keep a table around you to break.
Wait. Pegula's up to -146?
Yeah, on FanDuel. There might be better prices out there though.
Yeah, I've got her up to -140-ish, -141.
Okay. I think there's like 138s, 137. So very, very thin.
Okay.
Thin out there right now on Pegula. Sounds like I won't be breaking the table tonight in celebration of that. Before you head out, any preseason stuff in the NFL? I know you like to have your preseason stuff. There's a couple games tonight.
Houston, I've got Vegas. The under in the San Francisco game.
Okay.
It's at 37.5 right now. I think that's fine.
8.5 38.5 on FanDuel.
Yeah. Oh, well, they're interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I do like that under. I think that the 38.5 is fine.
You're like, wait, what news came out that I missed? That it got ticked up a little bit. Anything for Friday or Saturday, or you got to wait for more information?
Friday went back and forth a little bit on the Jets Pittsburgh game. Oh, I do have the over in the Green Bay Denver game.
Okay.
40.5. That's a little bit tough, but yeah, it's fine. 40 and a half is okay.
All right, 40 and a half is okay. Pagula did just wick down to minus 138 on FanDuel, so that is takeable on FanDuel if you like it. Last thing before you head out here, I'm trying to find the point total for the Vancouver Canucks. I can't find it. Canucks point.
Over. Don't even worry about the number.
It's just the over. I think it's like, what,
Anything.
60?
Yeah, 60, 70, 80, 90. Just go over.
100. All right, I love it. Any 132 right now on Pagula. Someone is clicking Pagula who has a terrible account. Someone who's awful at betting, and maybe it's in our chat. 132 right now on Pagula. Something's happening. Any final thoughts before you head out here? Someone?
No, I'm just getting excited about the hockey season now. It's around the corner. Obviously, that's where the bread and butter is. But yeah, just getting ready for that now.
All right, I can't wait to talk puck with you very, very soon. SoMoney, appreciate you joining the show. Hair looks great as always. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll chat soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. See you later, guys.
Appreciate you, SoMoney, and the chat appreciates you as well. Great stuff there. Appreciate you guys in the chat. All right. I think that wraps up today's show. Why don't we bring up the wheel, spin it, get some more names going on here. I wonder who we are going to get today. Do us a favor while we wait for the wheel to spin, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel as well, hit that subscribe button. E-Colt saying, I can't wait to edge. That's crazy. You made me say that out loud. All right. Jaguars 2015 to 2019. Ready. 3, 2, 1. Allen Hurns. James Robinson? Is that too early? Or is that too late? When did James Robinson come in the league? Anyways, Jaguars 2015 to 2019. E-Colt, you better be all over this. Mark Brunell in the chat. All right. You guys let us know what names come off the top of your head when you see Jags 2015, 2010. Obviously, Blake Bortles, Allen Robinson, AJ Boye, Mercedes Lewis, Jalen Ramsey. Good names. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to all of our guests who came on today. Shout out to SoMoney. Shout out to Anthony Dabbundo for breaking it all down here. Shout out to Julia for keeping everything nice and smooth behind the boards. TJ Yeldon, shout out. Holy smokes. Nick Foles on the Jags? I don't remember that. Yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to you guys in the chat as well. G-Stack for sure wasn't on the Jags. Marquise Lee, good pull. Alex Meredo, what an absolute stud there. Chosen, don't leave without dropping a Jag in the chat. Anyways, Maurice Jones-Drew, appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys know the drill. Smash the like button. Appreciate you guys in the chat. George, Connor, Alex, Chosen, TQ, Amber, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys. And that's it. That wraps up today's show. This has been the Thursday, August 20th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We see you guys right here tomorrow.